Welcome, everybody, to the Week 6 lineup show. We're going to go through a GPP lineup tonight, a cash lineup, and then we're going to try and answer some Who's Your Bay type questions. Try and play it Who's Your Bay during the lineup creation, as well as answer some player A versus player B type of questions afterwards, coming through from the chat. So if you're in the chat, please go ahead, ask away, and we'll get to them after we do the lineups. Let's see here. Pete, you just got your lower third back. How does that feel?
I felt naked without it. I feel clothed with it. This is fantastic.
You also don't have to play MacGyver this week.
Right. I mean, honestly, it was kind of fun to go a little low-tech. I like the name tag thing there, and I've lost my permanent marker, so it's a good thing this is working.
But did you have enough tape?
I do. I've got like 4 different kinds of tape. I've got shipping tape, duct tape, and a little bit of Scotch tape, and some masking tape too. So like tape, I am totally good on tape. I got tape out the tape hole.
They're tricky. Yeah. Let's see. Alex, you are also donned with a lower third again this week. Congratulations there. And
finally back.
Is your heart racing like whoa right now?
I'm gonna throw up at some point while we're on the show. I haven't had this feeling in my stomach since Devils Kings Cup final like a couple years ago. Oh man, it's brutal. It's brutal.
So Alex, my bad news for you. Bad news for you that I mentioned before the show. Okay, it's like I'm rooting for you guys, right? The Cubs are undefeated in games where I have not worn my lucky Cub shirt. So I'm undefeated, and that includes the playoffs. So I'm just gonna not wear my lucky Cub shirt for the rest. I'm just gonna burn it if they win the series, as a matter of fact. So even if you survive, there's no way you can force me to put that T-shirt on. I'm afraid you are out of luck.
Okay.
Yes. This is a fact. There's something like 43-0 in games where I have not worn that shirt. All right. Anyway.
For games where you have not worn the shirt.
Right.
Your lucky shirt.
Right, the lucky Cub shirt, yeah.
Interesting.
The super lucky Cub shirt. Dude, I'm the same way with most of my things, too. That's why I'm, like, not wearing, like, a Mets T-shirt. Hats never matters. It's just any other piece of clothing related to a sports team is just, it never works out.
Well, and the viewers, they like your hats so much anyway that,
Dude, I know.
They do.
Right.
We do have a ton of comments and chat questions and everything in relation to Alex's hats. And I have to say, as much as I make fun of it, I am jealous. I said it in the chat on Tuesday. I can't hate on it because I have to wear the hat to cover up my bald head. So
yeah, I mean, I don't need to. I just I like to wear a hat. Like that's really just. I don't know why everybody gets so bent out of shape about it. It's not like, I think I'm the man because I wear a backwards hat. No, this is how I wear my hats, and I like to wear hats. Get over it.
So that means you do think you're the man, though. I mean, you can't deny that.
Well, I mean, that's not the discussion at hand.
Put down. There you go. All right. Let's before we dive into the GPP contest, I do want to talk about a little ruling that came out earlier this afternoon, evening time. We've had a little bit of discussion beforehand here on it via text, and that's this Nevada ruling where the Nevada Gaming Commission came out and said that DFS is officially determined to be gambling and illegal, can't be on the same website as casino gambling. I'm not going to quote anything directly here. I don't have it up right in front of me. But I do want to just talk about it. This was deemed by the Nevada Gaming Commission, so it's confined to the state of Nevada, right? In my mind, this was a selfish move by the Nevada Gaming Commission because DFS is taking away from those who like to just straight up gamble on sports games. DFS gives them a different way to do it, right? As deemed by the 2006 court ruling to be legal. So it has a lot more people doing it. It takes away, again, from people straight up gambling on money lines, on spreads, over-unders, props, etc. So, of course, Nevada had to come out and say, stop doing this, stop taking away money from our golden child that is, Pete Karagianis just joined this call. That's kind of weird. Stop taking money away from the golden child that is gambling, and just stay away from the state. So I'm glad, that's my little kudos to my bottom third here. I'm glad I don't live in Vegas or Nevada right now because of this ruling. As long as we're out of Nevada for now, we should be okay. It's interesting to see. I think, Alex, you made a good point. It just takes one state to kind of start the domino effect. But I think this ruling in itself is a bit unique because there aren't many other places where you can bet on sports. So it may start a domino effect in, 5 total states or something like that, where you can actually legally gamble on sports. But outside of that, I don't see us, going down that road again. Pete, I think you're back now. You look clearer than ever. What are your thoughts on this matter?
Yeah, I think I'm caught back up to live. My other computer crashed, so greetings. Hello. Yeah, so actually, we were going back and forth on this today, and Mark, I think you and I are sort of in agreement here. What happened is Vegas likes their money, and they want to regulate any sort of gambling. So if they're going to label this as gambling, if you want to play DFS in Nevada, what's probably going to happen is it's probably going to have to go through the Nevada Gaming Commission before DFS is legal there again. I think you and I are also in agreement that this is a move by the Vegas money trust, by the casinos, right? They see that this is a big piece of the pie. They probably want a part of it. This is a power play to get a part of it. Where I think we differ a little bit is you see this as not such a big deal. I actually think it's a pretty big deal, because any sort of lawmaker or any sort of federal commission that wants to start regulating DFS, this is that crack in the door that they need. As a matter of fact, I'll even go back. The crack in the door that they needed was the scandal that came out of the insider trading. That's the crack in the door that they needed. Now this is the next step. This is the foot through the door where it's being deregulated, it's being disallowed, it's being banned in Nevada. So I actually see this as a slightly bigger issue than you. We're in agreement as to why it's happening. We're in agreement as to it's nothing national, it's nothing huge to be totally upset about just yet. But I sort of see this as the snowball starting to get a little larger as it's going down the hill. And I think that's where we're at right now. This is a very precarious moment. Is it going to turn into an avalanche, or is it going to hit a stone and stop right there? That's where we're at in my view.
It's an interesting thought too, and one thing that actually popped in my head was an article I read last week that said when the Massachusetts Attorney General started looking into these sites and looking into their operations, they came out and said distinctively, we're not looking to shut them down. We're looking to make sure that they're transparent to the users and the customers and make sure that the citizens are getting an actual fair shake in what's going on. I think that's very important to keep in mind. Obviously, the FBI and the DOJ are going to have a different mindset. They may be looking to straight up just shut stuff down, but we don't know because we can't be, nothing's transparent about what they're going to do. So I'll agree with you, right? I see your point of view where things could snowball really, really quickly from this, but I think for now, the American Gaming Association, I believe is what they're called, I think they're kind of going to sit back and say, okay, let's wait and see what actually happens with it, and kind of take it from there, right? Kind of see what's going on beyond Nevada, beyond a state that has, in my opinion, some type of agenda against DFS because of, like I said, I think it was a business decision by them, not really looking into what skills it takes to be successful at DFS. I think it strictly looked at it as saying there's companies outside of Nevada that are taking our revenue, taking our tax revenue, and we need to stop it. So it's interesting. It's yet another development. We just wanted to take a few minutes and talk about it. Hopefully nothing really significant happens from it, but we're still here for now, and that's a great thing. Something else we wanted to touch on was a suggestion we had on the Tuesday show, and that was to get the highest scoring listener onto the show with us during the week. And we kind of thought that was a great idea. We love interacting with you guys, as you all know. Keep clicking thumbs up, keep commenting, keep subscribing, keep sharing. We appreciate everything. We love the interaction with you guys. And to actually bring listeners onto the show, I think, is a really, really cool idea. But in order to do that, what we're actually going to do, and what I've done, is set up a league for our listeners to kind of compete against us. So it's a $2 listener league. Right now, there's only 25 entries into it, so first come, first serve. I don't know how many people we're really going to get, so if this fills up quickly, I can always create another one, or next week I can make it bigger. Basically, if you beat us all and you win first place, and we recognize your name, you tell us your DK username, we'll bring you on the show and you can walk us through how you created your lineup and what your thought process was in determining your lineup and why you picked who you did. It's a continuous learning experience, not just for you guys, but for us too. Always love finding out what people are thinking when they put their lineups together, especially when it's a winning lineup. So look for the link. It's in the description for the YouTube, for the Cash and GPP lineup podcast. I'll probably throw it in the link for the other one as well. And let us know what you think. Hop in. If you do hop in, shoot one of us on Twitter with your DK name so that we know it's you if and when you win. And good luck to you guys there. In saying that, Alex, you're on commercial, so you're okay, breathing, still alive over there?
I'm alive. I'm good.
Good.
Still freaking out, but I'm alive.
Of course. But that's a good thing, right? It's a lot better than the alternative. So
it's true.
Keep freaking out. We like it. We're going to go into DraftKings now. I'm going to start my screen share, and we're going to hop into, if I can find it. There we go. Okay. So let's talk through, first and foremost, a GPP lineup, since that was one that we didn't get to the past couple weeks. Something a lot of listeners actually commented on. I was pleasantly surprised. A lot of listeners commented on it and wanted to see a GPP as well as a cash. So let's do GPP first. Quarterback position, I think we kind of touched on him Tuesday. My nomination, he's going to be popular, but I still kind of like him. My nomination for this pick is Colin Kaepernick. Alex, you with me on that for GPP?
Did you just say the words Colin Kaepernick to me?
I did, man.
Yeah, no, I'm not with you on that one. Pete? Never, ever going to be with you on that one.
This week, I think I am. Look, the Ravens are terrible. They can't win a game. They are dead last in the league against opposing quarterbacks and second worst against receivers, or vice versa. I can't remember which. Look, I'm with Alex. I can't stand playing Kaepernick, but this is a great week to use him in a GPP. I actually don't think he's going to be used as much as you might think, unless all of our listeners go run out and use him. However, there's another interesting name that I think we should talk about for a GPP, and if Alex is in disagreement, I think it should be a unanimous thing. I think it should be a unanimous vote.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
Okay, so I was putting together my my stacks article. I do a weekly article on stacks that I want to use in DFS. And one of the stacks I recommended was a Brian Hoyer DeAndre Hopkins stack. Last week, Hoyer didn't play the whole game. He still threw for 312 yards. He also had 2 scores, as you can see, and this was in an incomplete game. Now he goes up against the Jaguars, who just got torched by Jameis Winston. Okay, if Jameis Winston can torch you, I mean, you're doing something wrong.
Well, they got torched more so by Doug Martin than Jameis Winston.
Yeah, that's true. I should say the Buccaneers lit them up. What the Buccaneers score? 38 points? Right?
38 points, yep. 3 touchdowns by Doug.
And, okay, so, right, not Winston who did the torching, but nonetheless, they got torched by the lowly Bucs.
He caught one, so...
Point is, Great matchup. Great matchup.
So you guys are. I'm fine with this. I'm fine with this play, so it can be unanimous. We all like Brian Hoyer as a GPP play only. At 5,100, he's $100 more than Colin Kaepernick. So it's still not like we're breaking the bank here. And I think I heard your choice for a stack was DeAndre Hopkins, correct?
Right.
All about it. All about Hopkins.
Yeah, I love Hopkins as a cash game play this week. I think his floor is going to be incredibly high for everything you just said. They should be able to torch Jacksonville. Even if they don't, DeAndre's getting, 15 targets a game. I'm in. So
the other thing I was going to add about Hoyer, and this is if you look at Houston this year, is on pace to attempt an insane amount of passes as well.
I think it was like 700 plus, right?
Right. So I don't know if something has changed in their offensive philosophy, or they've just been that bad that they've been down and throwing the ball.
Probably
but they're
both.
attempting a ton, probably a little bit of both. But they're attempting a ton of passes. So to me, this is a very interesting look. Do I really love playing Hoyer? No. Is he going to make his way into any of my cash lineups? Actually, maybe, because as we always talk about, hitting value is what matters there, and look at his price, right? He's only got to get 15 points. So maybe. I don't love using Hoyer, but for a GPP, like shot in the dark, plus you're pairing him with arguably this week's #1 receiver play, I mean, it makes sense to me. That's all I'm saying. It's a good argument, and it makes sense, I think.
I'm in. I think we all agree we're going to lock them in, Hoyer and Hopkins as our stack. So where do we want to go from here, guys? Where do you like to go? I personally like to go to tight end and defense to kind of get the potentially cheaper positions out of the way.
What I was also thinking was,
you guys tell me what you like to do.
I have two guys that I would really like to put in GPP lineup.
And they are?
Charkandrick, obviously, because if he gets the opportunity, I think he flourishes. And Decker, for the reasons I stated on Tuesday.
I agree with the Decker pick. What do you think, Alex? So I'm going a totally different direction here. See, I want to play DeAnthony Thomas this week because he's a guy who's been involved every week. Everybody and their mother and dog are going to be playing. In my opinion, they're all going to be playing West, especially at the $4,000 price tag. Thomas, let's look at Kansas City. Kansas City targets the running back. Whether it was Charles or Thomas, they target the running back in the passing game a ton. What do you think the odds are that all of those Jamal Charles running game pass targets go to DeAnthony Thomas, and he has something like an 8 or 9 catch stat line, which gives you 8 or 9 points baseline right off the bat because it's PPR plus whatever yardage he gets?
I think it's Charkandrick. I think that he's the same. Like I said Tuesday, he's not Jamal Charles. No one is Jamal Charles, but he's the most similar to Jamal Charles. They trust him catching the ball out of the backfield, and I just think he has the best chance to do everything. He has a chance to catch, he has a chance to run, and he has a chance to score touchdowns.
So it's
purely a GPP play.
Let's take a look here, right? So for Charkandrick, he had 5 carries against Cincy, 7 against Chicago. He also had 1 catch in each game. So they'll trust him a bit out of the backfield, right?
And that, just keep in mind, that's with Jamal Charles. So
we're recommending West as a GPP play, right? We already did. I think, to be honest with you, I think West is going to be way too highly owned, and if you want to really succeed in a GPP, you're going to have to fade him for the same reason as Carlos Williams a few weeks ago, right? He was, 51% owned in the Millionaire Maker for DraftKings that week, and
right.
the same mindset applies for West. Everyone's going to look at him 4K for a #1 back against what was a pretty bad run defense. I think West is going to be highly owned, so I'm off of him in GPPs. I see the reason to play him, so I don't mind plugging him into this lineup. But me personally, I'll have some shares of him, but he won't be in every single lineup I put into a tournament this weekend.
So I saw a tweet earlier that there was somebody that was tweeting out like the ownership percentages for the FanDuel Millionaire Maker, because when you play on Thursdays, those ownership rates go up. Apparently, Charkandrick was only like 5% owned.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why I
thought
really,
he would be.
really like
I
this.
thought he would be way up here. Like I said, let's leave him in there. I'm okay with leaving him in there, or DeAnthony Thomas, one or the other.
I think the difference. Well, first of all, DeAnthony is still classified as a wide receiver on here, so he's not a running back. And second,
right.
I think that I just.
Sorry.
I like
if we could play him if we could play Thomas as a running back, then I would be okay with it. Since we can't, then I don't want to use him.
Right. Okay. So the difference between him and Carlos, I think, was Carlos was the undisputed guy. We still haven't seen what Charkandra can do, so I don't think people are as on him. Plus, everybody pretty much got burned by playing Carlos because they thought he was going to explode, and he didn't really do much.
So my thought process, just a heads up, behind DeAnthony Thomas is that he's seeing one rush a game if he's lucky, and it seems like a lot of those are on some sort of reverse because look at his negative yards rushing in 2 out of the 3 weeks he had a carry here.
Well, my argument in favor of playing him, and I'm clearly being outvoted here, and that's fine. But just to clarify, my argument in favor of playing him is that I think he gets the Jamal Charles targets. So if you look at the Jamal Charles targets and catches, I think he gets those numbers. And if he gets those plus a couple carries here or there at 3,000, he's well worth the price. However, we can't play him at running back, so I'm off him.
Okay. So we can leave West in there. We like Decker, like we said on Tuesday. Are we okay with snagging a defense at this time?
I'm fine with that.
Yep.
Okay. I gotta say, the Broncos are probably my favorite defense, but I'll probably go lower in a tournament here.
See, but I actually don't think a lot of people
spend up the defense in the tournament.
Right, I really don't. I think to me the Broncos are just an obvious play every week. In fact, I've used them in at least one lineup. Usually, I would bet if I went back and looked, I've used them in multiple lineups every single week, and it's the one position that you're always scoring at. I don't know if enough people really are willing to spend up for a defense like that, and I think this is a good week to do that. But if you want to talk, we should at least look at some lower ones. But
yeah, I think
my preliminary vote is Broncos.
I still like Denver. I think the cheaper ones I could see going with are
Panthers
Minnesota
and Vikings. Yeah.
Miami. I like the Vikings at 29 coming off the bye. I like Miami at 28 coming off the bye.
Carolina off the bye.
I like Carolina as well. I think they're another sneaky.
People are going to avoid them because they're playing at Seattle. Yeah.
Yep. I think not a lot of people are going to be on them. The thing that does worry me though is Jared Allen isn't going to play there. I really feel like he's going to make a difference in that defense when he actually gets to play and is healthy. But
here's sort of an interesting one. So I'm in agreement with you guys with Minnesota and Carolina are the two that I want to spend down on. Here's a couple other interesting ones. Just for the sake of argument here, I'm going to throw two at you. What about Houston? Okay. Playing against the Jaguars.
No thanks.
No, really? Not at all?
They just threw up 31 against Tampa. I mean, and I think Tampa's D is probably in the same class as Jacksonville.
Okay, and then second, what about Chicago? I know that's totally insane based on everything I've said up to this point, but dead serious, what about Chicago?
I honestly, I don't mind Chicago. I think they've outperformed what a lot of people thought they would do to this point, and the Lions have been the exact opposite.
Right. They've underperformed in the same way Chicago has outperformed.
I don't mind that at all. And at 2,400, holy cow.
Right.
Yeah, if they get 10 points, that's amazing for a tournament.
I mean, if you think about it, so here's the argument in favor of Chicago. Number one, they have this new offensive philosophy, which is nice as a Bears fan, although I want them to stop winning so we can get Goff, of controlling the clock. So the other team's offense isn't going to be on the field a whole lot of the time. If you look at the time of possession statistics, Chicago's are ridiculous. Second,
I'm cool with throwing them in there.
The way you score fantasy points is through sacks and turnovers. Detroit has an awful turnover ratio, and they also give up quite a few sacks as well. So for a cheap price, I don't know. I also like the Vikings a lot this week, which Alex brought up, and I also really like Carolina because I think a lot of people are going to be off of Carolina this week, and I think that's a mistake. I think that you should play Carolina this week. You fear the matchup going into Seattle, but Seattle hasn't been Seattle. They're not scoring a lot. Russell Wilson is getting sacked probably at a career worst rate. They just haven't been the team that we expected them to be. They has not shown up. So I like Seattle a lot.
They have no offensive line.
Let's go Carolina.
Hold on, real quick, just because we talked about this on Tuesday briefly at the end. If Cincinnati had gotten a touchdown off of something, they would have been one of the best defenses fantasy-wise of all last week. That was going up against Seattle, giving up a bunch of points. A bunch of sacks, they had turnover, the Panthers especially with Josh Norman's penchant for turning picks into touchdowns.
Yeah, let's
play it's actually pretty high floor too.
And probably low usage. Let's put him in there, and if we need the extra 600, we can pivot to the Bears.
We can always pivot off. There we go. I like it. For 3,000, I like that a lot, and we're sitting at an average of 6,300 remaining for the rest of our guys. If we go over to tight end, do we Gronk or do we not Gronk?
To Gronk or not to Gronk? That is the question.
I'm for it. Everyone's saying it's the statement game.
He's had a couple of, for Gronk, a couple of down weeks in a row,
He hasn't scored the past 2 weeks. So, and he had in Jacksonville, it was 4 for 100, 4 for 67 against Dallas. This Indy defense, I feel like the Pats are going to put up 40 points at least on them.
We also saw that last week.
Here's my argument in favor of Gronk. So, Alex, let me know what you think.
Okay.
I was putting together some lineups earlier this week just for fun, just looking at it. There's really not a lot of places at receiver in particular where I want to spend money. A lot of the high-priced guys, I look at them like I want to spend money on Hopkins. I maybe want to spend some money on AJ Green, but there's a lot of spots in the lineup where I feel like I don't want to spend money here. So this is a week where I'm okay with spending money at the tight end position. Normally I try to find somebody cheap who's going to get a lot of looks, like a Donnell, that sort of thing. But this week, up and down the lineup, when I put my lineups together, I was thinking, man, I don't really want to spend money here. So what do you think, Alex? Have you put any together yet or no?
I haven't put any together with Gronk, but I'm kind of I'm kind of leaning towards Eifert just because I think that the fact that Eifert was able to secure 2 touchdowns against Seattle, and I think Buffalo's worse against the tight end, and Gronk's kind of decreasing every week in points. I think that Gronk is going to be very, very highly owned because of the narrative street this week, and just that alone worries me because if he tanks, everyone with Gronk's going to tank, and if you don't have Gronk, you're going to flourish. So that's my only argument against Gronk. Obviously, he's the top play each and every week, but just to fade him a little bit, I don't think is a terrible idea either, even though we don't really see him stay this far down very often.
What about Gronk and Eifert?
Why don't we do this? Why don't we put one in, keep the flex open, see what we can do with the other 2 spots.
Let's put Gronk in to start because he's higher priced.
He's more expensive. Yep, that's exactly what I did. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so that leaves us at 5,900 a spot for running back and wide receiver, and flex with our three final positions there. Let's see, if we sit around that average, we're looking at, Eddie Lacy at 6,300.
I actually do like Lacy this week, honestly.
I'm with you.
I think this is a good week to play Lacy, and his price is starting to get low.
Yeah, it's not going to stay that low for a while. So there are definitely worse plays than that.
All right. Put him in, and we're going to slip down to 5,700-ish per person for wide receiver and the remaining.
Well, all right. Just what's minus 48 for Eifert? Let's just see how much we have to play with if we're trying to fit an Eifert.
49 for Eifert.
It
gives us 65 at wide receiver, so we're looking at a Macklin, Jordan Matthews. I like Prince Amukamara out for a couple weeks now.
No.
No. I kind of like Allen.
Which Allen?
Robinson. I mean, he's right there.
I like Allen Robinson, yes.
And I like the fact that we like it in a game that seems like it's terrible offensively. Could be one of the higher scoring games of the week between Jacksonville and Houston.
Just would not surprise me.
Flinging the ball with nobody.
It's more terrible defensively than offensively this week, actually. I like it. I'm there with you. I think he's as we can see by his scoring history here, he's definitely a GPP play, right? Yeah. 33.7.
Week one, I wouldn't call it that, but ever since then, Bortles has been, I think it's the number 10 quarterback, number 16, number 3, and then number 6 last week. So other than week one, Bortles has actually been pretty good also, and his main guy is Allen Robinson.
Yeah, but again, listen to me. Look at Allen Robinson's.
No, I get it. I understand.
Price to point ratio, right? And you're looking at basically the definition of GPP. He's going to go off, or he's going to be okay. So it's week one where they did nothing, but that was against Carolina. So I'm with you. I like Allen Robinson, especially at that price.
Just for his salary, though. Hold on. Let's take Robinson out. Sorry to interrupt.
What the frig?
No, just look at
too many cooks. This isn't working.
Too many cooks. You guys another one? No.
No.
Oh God. Okay.
You might be dating yourself with that one.
No. Trust me. This is beautiful. I'm putting the link out there for all of our viewers.
So 5,900 was Allen Robinson. We do have 65. That goes all the way up.
He's the worst.
Macklin, Ty, Jordan Matthews got you were vehemently denying that.
We can put him in if you want.
Jimmy Jam, little James Jones against San Diego.
Easy there, son.
We already have Lacey.
Moncrief?
Benjamin, Alan Hearns, Moncrief. I mean, talk to me here, Pete. Who are you looking at? Torrey Smith.
Anquan.
Yeah, but then I want to play somebody other than Eifert.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, all right, wait a minute. Hold on. No. This is perfect. GPP play. This is another stack that I recommended in my stacks article this week. Give me some Alshon, baby. Give me some Alshon. If he plays, I think he's a great play this week if he's in there. And you got to watch out. You got to watch out for his injury. But if he plays, I think he's a fantastic play this week. I really do.
All right, so let's play.
I do like the Anquan call though.
Everybody take a picture. Now let's put Anquan in Alshon's spot and see what we can do at flex.
I agree with that too. Mark, you're gonna have to do a screen share of Too Many Cooks, okay? Because it's not letting me link it to the listeners. Just click on that YouTube link real quick, okay? And do a screen share. It's fantastic.
Hang on. 7,100 for our flex.
Marsh.
No.
Actually, no, because then we'd have Decker and Marshall. Otherwise, I like the call.
I was going to say, I'm not putting both Jets receivers in here.
The Torney lineup. Fitz against Pittsburgh, I mean, they give it up in the air.
I'm okay with that call.
Fitzy? Okay, I could see it.
We should be are you guys screen capping all these lineups? Because I'm not.
No, but we can just go back and watch them.
I like the watch.
You know what? I have to be honest. I like that Alshon play though if he's in because his percentage is going to be real low.
I like it too because for the same reason and for the simple fact that Cutler loves to target him.
Okay, guys, I have some bad news though.
What now?
Oh no, go ahead. You finish whatever we're doing here, and then we're gonna have some Too Many Cooks.
No, what's the Too Many Cooks? Go ahead.
Oh, wrong moment. Damn it! Hold on.
What are you doing over there, Pete? I have no idea what you're doing. I'm just putting it out there. I have no idea what you're doing.
It's Too Many Cooks. How do you not know about Too Many Cooks? Like, where have you been?
When did that come out? Was it
I
like
don't know.
1981?
Please.
When did it come out? I don't know.
I don't know. It's Too Many Cooks. Go look it up. I'll look it up.
I'm a little busy.
You're doing. What are you doing? You're not doing anything.
All right, are we making a cash lineup or what?
When did Too Many? No, first we're settling the when did Too Many Cooks come out debate.
All right,
while you look that up, I'm gonna clear this out.
Wait, can we recap that lineup or no?
I've already cleared it out. Sorry.
Original release October 27th, 2014.
2014.
Yeah, where have you been? What do you do in your days?
I have a kid. I have Disney Channel up all like 24/7.
And you haven't seen Too Many Cooks?
No.
Yeah. Well, now you have. You've heard it. Now you got to go watch it.
I've heard it. Is this?
You should screen share. Yeah, I put it in.
Kiddie show? Is it a Disney show?
No, do not let your children watch Too Many Cooks.
Well, then that would be why I don't know what it is.
It's not a kid-friendly program. It's an 11-minute short by Adult Swim, and it's fantastic. So go check it out.
Adult Swim, that would be why I don't
want. Go check out Too Many Cooks.
All right, let's move on to a cash lineup here.
I totally agree. And while we're doing that.
Juan Lagares.
I'm sorry.
All right, Alex might have to be muted. He's talking non-football.
Yeah, we should definitely mute anything except the Too Many Cooks.
All right, cash game quarterback. I'm paying up for him. Tom Brady. What about you, Pete?
No argument here. Here's the only thing I'd say. Value-wise, scroll down a bit. Keep going.
Dalton.
Keep going. Look at Dalton. The 5 to 6K range. Keep going. There you go. Jay Cutler. Play the Bears. Fantastic. No, I'm kidding. Let's play Brady. What am I talking about? I'm playing Cutler in a cash game lineup. I only got to hit 15 points.
I was just about to come back to you and say, last week you were off every single Bear for the rest of life.
He was off of them on Tuesday.
It's Bizarro World, Mark. It's Bizarro World, okay?
That's true. Well,
now that I've accepted Bizarro World into my life and listened to the Too Many Cooks song, I am ready to play some Cutler.
Recommending Andy Dalton against a Rex Ryan defense. This is clearly, in a cash game, this is clearly Bizarro World.
Soulless Ginger for the win. By the way, Pete, we had a comment. It's the red rifle, not the red rocket.
You know what?
And I don't even care about that. I appreciate whoever left that comment, but Red Rocket was hysterical. So I wish it stayed Red Rocket.
Okay, hold on. I got some statistics here in favor of my Cutler play, but I need to calculate them because this site is not really helpful. Hold on. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm on Brady. Alex is on Dalton. Pete,
how ballsy would it be, though, to play Bortles with a hurt shoulder?
Okay, in 12 career games against Detroit, Cutler averages, he's had 17 touchdowns and averages 222 yards a game. And he's even, just for giggles, he's even thrown in one rushing touchdown and I think a receiving touchdown, if I'm reading this correctly. So let's just call it 18 total touchdowns in 12 games. So that's 1.5 touchdowns a game and 220 yards. Now, he only needs to hit 15 points to hold value.
So
what is that? What's 220 yards?
Let me stop you from slurping Cutler just for a second.
9 points, Pete.
If Nada is out, which it looks like he will be,
they're just going to run it all day. Yeah, that's fair.
Forte is going to get more of the heavy workload, and we're not going to see a Cutler that has to throw 40 times.
Right. I guess the big problem is the bust potential is massive. So let's just put Brady in there and tell me to shut up.
I'm in for Brady. Like I said, in a cash game, I'm going to pay up for him. I think I can find enough value at other positions to pay up for him. Alex, you want Dalton, so Pete, you're
I'm good with Brady.
Yeah, we're all good with Brady. Let's just put him in there.
Okay. Sorry, I thought Alex was was very, very adamant about his soulless ginger.
Brady's safer. I mean, I would rather play Dalton just for the money that you save, but
yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Brady in a narrative game.
I hear you. All right, so moving on
Play
to
Jamal. You guys want to play Jamal this week?
Dude, Jamal would be the ultimate GPP play.
Dude, the ultimate, just like everybody's fading him, and he just blows up.
Right? Like,
all right, but seriously though, Hopkins is wide receiver 1 this week. Regardless,
keep Hopkins in there. I will say, my cash running backs, Adrian Peterson, likely Forte. I love Foster. If I'm spending up for running backs, it's those guys.
So Forte, for all the reasons you just mentioned, I can get on board with that.
Yeah. Adrian Peterson, because the Chiefs are going to be without Dontari Poe. They've had trouble stopping.
Well, the problem though is, we need to have money somewhere.
That's why I said if I can spend up at the position, I like those guys. Right. Not all of them, obviously, but I do like them.
Chris Ivory.
I think at this point, though, we need to already be looking for a cheaper option, someone who can hit value low,
If we go to Chris Ivory, who I'm not very high on for a cash, he is only 5,100, coming off a game where he ran the ball 29 times. I mean, that's a lot of work against a Washington team that just went into overtime and gave up, 150 on the ground to Devontae Freeman.
Yeah, my only concern with Ivory is he doesn't catch a whole lot of passes, but if he's getting 29 carries, he doesn't need to.
He hasn't had the opportunity to. I think he's going to.
Yeah.
He hasn't been given the opportunity because he got hurt for a little bit, and they didn't need him to catch passes week 1, and they didn't need him to catch passes in London either. So
I don't think they're going to need him to catch passes this week either, but that's okay.
What do you think? Okay, I'm okay with Ivory if we want to go with Ivory, but here's a couple of interesting ones that
go ahead.
I would also be okay with.
I have one on the screen in front of me that I like, but go ahead. You go first.
Who are you going to go with?
Who you're thinking of?
Okay, well, I'm curious. Go. Yes.
Is it Carlos Hyde?
No, although actually I almost played him last week. And he did hit value, I think.
Cool. I played Hyde and Donnell in regular fantasy and lost by less than a touchdown.
I was actually hit value for the first time last week.
Can we time out real quick?
Yes.
It's Utley versus Familia, and I'm really worried he's going to hit him in the head and we're going to lose.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Go ahead, Pete.
So hit value for the first time last week, has decent matchup and very low price. How about Melvin Gordon? Too risky for a cash game for you guys?
I'll tell you what my thought is on that. I actually liked Danny Woodhead this week, and that's because I know what Gurley did to the Packers last week, but he ran the ball 30 times.
Right.
Melvin Gordon, I don't see getting 30 carries.
Me neither.
This is very alarming, the 7 catches against Pittsburgh. That's pretty alarming to see that from Gordon as opposed to Woodhead, right? I would have assumed Woodhead was going to get more.
That's why I'm down on Woodhead this week, is if they see that Gordon can be a viable pass catcher, why wouldn't you give him more opportunity?
It's true. I guess I hadn't looked at that stat, but what I was going to say was I see the Packers giving up those dump-off passes all day long. So actually, now that I saw that, I don't mind either one of them. I'm okay with putting Gordon in there.
I'd rather Woodhead, but
that's because you have a hard-on for Woodhead.
Well, just because 1 week Gordon catches passes doesn't mean it's a trend.
2 weeks. He caught 2 the week before. It's building.
If we're going to play a cheap running back here, though, maybe we should consider playing cheap receivers and let's spend the money on like a Peterson. What do you guys think? Or a Foster?
For cash game, that's my my preferred thing is to spend up at running back.
Even if Forsett this, we well know because he's got the injury concern.
Forsett's got the ankle injury, which bothers me.
Okay, well, I vote let's spend up at running back then, but we're going to have to find some real cheap plays throughout the rest of our lineup.
So who do you want to spend up with? I like Peterson probably the most.
Well, I'm saying we should spend up and
find out who we
let's
can
play like Forte and Peterson.
Okay, my first suggestion is going to be Jamison Crowder.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
3,600. We talked about him Tuesday. Could take on Buster Screen.
Mm-hmm.
At the slot position, assuming now Deshaun Jackson, felt a twinge in his hamstring, so he could be out again this weekend. Or Jamison Crowder staying in the slot there. I kind of like him. Maybe not to repeat what he did this past week, because 8 for 87 was a lot, especially at that price. But he only went up $100.
Well, he's only got to hit value. He's only got to score 11 points, and he's at value. That's 5 catches for 60 yards, or 6 for 50. So I think this is a reasonable play. Here's another cheap one. Although I'm not sure how I feel about it. Ty Montgomery at 3,500. Doesn't have to do a lot to hit value. And assuming Adams misses another week, which I think he will, he could be another good play.
Yeah, Adams.
Between those two, I think I prefer Crowder, though.
I'd prefer Crowder over Montgomery just because Cousins really has Garcon and Crowder.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers has Cobb and Jones.
And they might just run it all day with Lacey.
Richard Rodgers, then a running back, and Montgomery. I mean, there's a lot more options there, and Rodgers tends to spread the ball out to more receivers than Kirk Cousins does. So I like Crowder more than Ty Montgomery this week, personally.
Yeah. Okay, let's play Crowder and let's find someone else.
Do we have another pretty decent value pick that we're comfortable with for a cash game, Alex?
Say that again. Sorry, there's one out left.
Wide receiver, value pick other than Crowder.
Bolden and Decker again.
I think I would go with Bolden.
Yeah, Bolden and Decker
again. That's what I'm talking about. Now I would put Bolden in. I like it. So how about that? So let's jump back to running back. Let's go up and put AP and Forte.
Sounds good to me.
Leaves us at 3,900 for those positions. So let's go to defense and see who we're comfortable with. It gives us, Minnesota?
New offense. Minnesota's been playing very, very well lately. Can you look at their stats for a second? 1 strike.
6-8, 15-6.
Well, 6 was against Denver. They were improving before that.
3, 2, 1.
I'm okay with the Vikings, but...
There he is.
Yeah. Mets win. I'm okay with the Vikings, but I like the Broncos again, too.
Congrats to Alex and his Mets. I like the Broncos personally. If we're talking cash game, I like the Broncos this week. Let's play it safe and just realize that we can obviously pivot down off of them. I mean, I don't mind a lot of the defenses down here. We kind of mentioned I don't mind the Vikings. Bengals if EJ Manuel plays. The Jets I like a lot, and that's 600, cheaper too. So let's see what we can make happen with the Broncos in there. It looks like spending up at running back and at DeAndre Hopkins and at Tom Brady definitely hurts us from spending up at tight end.
I'm leaning towards a guy who I like a lot this week, especially if some of the other Larry Donnell. Look, Ruben Randall probably out. Beckham not looking good, even if he goes, might be limited.
Randall actually practiced today in a limited fashion, and Beckham didn't, but he was seen running on the sidelines looking okay. So I think they can both play, but regardless, they're not. I don't think both of them are going to be at 100%, which is I think what you were getting at, and right. I'm with you there. I like Donnell at that price too. I mean, if he just catches one touchdown, he's 2/3 of the way there to providing you value, like we said earlier. So I like that a lot. He puts us all the way up to 5,100 for our flex play. Let's see. Flex. Where do we want to go in flex, Alex?
Give me a minute. Freaking out still.
Oh, sorry. For me personally, I like on a cash game, I like going running back at flex. What about you, Pete?
Yeah, I mean it's safe. The problem is if you look at what have we got left? 5,100.
Yes.
5,100. If you look at what we've got left at running back, there's Chris Ivory sitting there, who I think Alex is going to be all over.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a very logical play. But if I look at the same thing at receiver, I see Hearns at 5,000, okay, injury issue, and I see Decker at 4,900. I like their pass catching potential, but again, Ivory starting running back. They want to feed him the ball. This is a really tough call. Which way are you leaning, Alex? I mean, I could go either way here.
Who was the other one? I think I would rather play Ivory over anyone here.
What we were saying is like Ivory or a receiver. If we go to receiver, we've got Decker as a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, either or. Because,
what about Ivory or Gore?
Because Decker is the guy being thrown to in the red zone most. He's at least the most targeted in the red zone. He always gets that post play, like I was saying on Tuesday. And Ivory is going to run the ball inside the 5.
I think I'm leaning Ivory. Is where I'm leaning here.
What about this guy?
What about Ahmad Bradshaw?
Stop it.
Not Franklin.
Yeah, I don't want to go Gore either. This game could get out of hand, and
okay.
we don't. What's going to happen then?
How about that? We use up all of our salary cap.
Look at those big name receivers.
We've got nuts receivers on this. Like I said, cash game. I'm preferring the guys that are going to get 20-plus touches guaranteed, and those are the high-price running backs, right? Adrian Peterson going to run through KC this week. Forte, very likely to do the same to Detroit. Hopkins, number 1 overall receiver this week. I think we got a lot of good players in this lineup, looking really nice for a solid cash on Sunday. I think that's it for looking at some lineups. So what I'm going to do is bring us back to some faces.
Can Devontae Freeman please stop doing things?
I hate him.
Dude, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
But what I'm going to do, what is that, his second touchdown tonight?
Yeah, and 100 yards on the ground.
I hate him. You got to be shitting me.
I know. It's horrible. Come on.
I'm going to let you guys really quickly, because I have to empty out. So I'm going to let you guys go up, scroll up in the chat, take a look at some of the questions these guys had. One off the top being Chris Ivory or Chris Johnson. So Alex, why don't you take that one?
Chris Ivory or Chris Johnson? I think that's pretty easy. Ellington's back, plus Johnson stealing goal line carries. I mean, I'm a Jets fan. I don't know why people think that Bilal Powell is is this real thing that's really gonna vault. It's the Ivory show. It was not the Ivory show in week 1 because they were up by so much. Then Bilal started to get some play. Then Ivory was hurt twice, and then last week, Bilal got hurt. So people are still oh well, when he's healthy, no, it's the Ivory show.
Yeah, I agree. This one's not close to me. I mean, especially with Ellington's probably going to get a few more touches this week. David Johnson got the goal line work last week. Let's go Ivory and let's go home. Next question.
You wanna look him up? I'm still trying to catch my breath right now, to be honest.
I understand.
We'll see you on Saturday, Mr. Karianis.
Yeah, that's going to be I think this is going to be a great series. I'm looking forward to it. But the mighty Cubs are coming to town, sir.
The Amazons are at home, though.
Yeah. All right, I am looking here for some questions.
Bortles or Brady? Did you guys touch on that one?
No.
Yeah. Well, as far as saving money, who could have more value? I think it could be.
Well, that's kind of obvious. The guy that's $3,000 less. So that's a dumb question.
Well,
my guess is who's your preference in a GPP? Bortles or Brady?
Bortles.
Yeah, GPP Bortles.
Okay.
Here's one: Hopkins or Robinson. We sort of kind of covered that one. We think Hopkins is the wide receiver 1 this week. We think he's a very good play, right?
Yep, I'm with you there.
So if you have an option, I guess you go Hopkins.
Someone asked if we're going to be doing a FanDuel league for us to join too. I don't think so.
I thought they were asking if we were going to do a FanDuel lineup.
Not just yet.
Yeah, I think they were asking a FanDuel lineup too, but that's not our plan.
No, there's both. Someone said, are you going to do a FanDuel league for us to join too? And then Greg said FanDuel lineups I would love. So I think we got both there. So maybe we'll have to try next time getting into a FanDuel lineup as well. We'll try that. Let's see. Going down, Kelsey or Gronk this week? All about Gronk.
Yeah.
See, like,
actually, I think Kelsey could have a good week, though, to be honest.
When I hear these questions...
We say that every week, though.
Yeah.
When I'm hearing these questions, because their prices are so different, I feel like they're asking who's the better value play as far as, like,
right. Well, clearly, yeah.
Salary. So, like, the Brady Bortles question was actually a very legitimate question if it was that was the way it was posed. And I think that Brady's safer, but Bortles has a ton more upside.
Yeah, I mean, I'll continue to disagree on the that he has a ton more upside. I don't think so this week. I think Brady and Bortles probably have similar upside this week.
From a value standpoint,
given the price, Bortles obviously wins out there.
Brady's top could be 40 points, where Bortles could go 30. And then it's 6x versus just under 5.
Right, so we're on the exact same page. Peterson or Foster? Ooh, good question. Good question. Pete, why don't you take that one?
Well, the prices are very similar for them, right? Like on DraftKings, I only see a difference of, well, 600, yeah. That's one where you're okay with either one who you play. I think I'm sort of with you, Mark, with Pope not being there and just in general the state that Kansas City is in right now. I think Peterson is just almost a must-play this week. As we've said, there are no must-plays, but I don't know that I want to necessarily not use him. So I'd probably go Peterson there.
Yeah, I mean, seeing as how the Chiefs lost on Terry Poe, the Saints. Sorry, I just turned the football game back on. Seeing as how the Chiefs lost on Terry Poe, Vikings coming off a bye. I mean, I think Peterson gets 20+ carries and they just run it down the Chiefs' throat and dominate that game. So I love Peterson this week in every format. Let's see. I have Gates in almost every lineup. Is that bad? Oh, not terrible, but I like to diversify a bit personally.
Yeah, me too. I want to play, if I want to identify the guys who I think are good plays, and then I want to try to use each of them if I can.
Next one, Alex. Why don't you take this one? Peterson or Foster? We just touched on that one.
There's a Fitz or Brown question. Actually, that's an interesting one because last week I actually really liked Brown as a play, and I used him in a lot of lineups. And he didn't go off. He didn't have a huge week, but he did come through. He got in the end zone. He had a few catches and I think 70-some yards. So he was not a terrible play actually. Assuming the injury is not serious, which I don't think it is, he's been just limited. I actually like Brown, especially still only at 5,200. I have no problem whatsoever using him instead of Fitz, especially with the price difference. I think I like in a vacuum, I put them both about equal this week, and Brown is a lot cheaper. Almost $1,000 cheaper, I think, right?
I would be pretty comfortable with either. God damn it, Matt.
Oh, wow, almost $2,000 cheaper. Did he throw a pick right at the end?
No, he got strip sacked.
Did he turn the ball over right at the end?
Yep.
Fantastic. Now I'm losing by even more. That's
let's see.
Great.
Bolden or Garcon? I am going to say Bolden.
Bolden.
Yeah, I'm definitely all aboard the Bolden train.
Stafford or Wilson? Wilson.
Yeah, Stafford. At least Wilson doesn't have a chance of being benched.
Yeah, Stafford just. I honestly, pure contrarian play this week if you're playing him, because I don't think anybody's going to have faith in him to do anything for a while until he actually proves it again. So you're going to see his numbers, his ownership levels just be way, way low. I don't think it's worth it, though. I don't think it's worth it to take that kind of risk. Bryant or Decker, Pete?
Decker. I think we've sort of given away our Decker love on the show, and I think it's justified.
So I like Decker a lot. I like the matchup, but Bryant, for all the reasons everyone thought before, that last week we thought he was coming back. He ended up not coming back, but everyone thought, okay, there's a deep threat, there's the play action, and Bryant's going to get that pass. I think Bryant could have a decent game, but I do like Decker. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm ultimately with you there on Decker over him, but I don't mind Bryant this week.
I mean, the thing is, I don't think that game is going to be very fun for Pittsburgh. The Cardinals are good. Their defense is even better.
Very good. Yep.
And I don't want any part of the Mike Vick led Pittsburgh Steelers this week. Maybe I'm wrong.
I'm with you. Yep, I'm with you. Cobb or Calvin? Alex.
I'm throwing that one to you, Mark.
So that is an interesting one. That's a great question. Cobb's injured. Calvin has a quarterback that sucks. To be honest, I'd probably have to go Calvin just because they're going to be playing from behind. Calvin's still going to have his looks. He should have gotten into the end zone against Seattle, right? He should have had a really good game against Seattle. I'd have to take Calvin over Cobb, but I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, I think I agree. I would take Calvin over Cobb this week, but again, like you said, I think you want to find a third party that you like better.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it.
Like Brandon Marshall.
Peyton versus McCown. Peyton.
Yeah, this week, Peyton.
I'm on McCown.
Not this week. Not against
You're
the Broncos.
McCown injured against the Broncos defense? No thanks.
Peyton is officially I wouldn't even put him on the streamers list of quarterbacks at this point.
No. Yeldon or Chris Johnson, Pete?
For me, it's, first of all, just to respond to Alex, for me it's this week, Alex.
I get it.
Against the terrible Browns, if he can't do something, then you're right. He's off the streamers list. I totally agree. To me, this is the show me week for Peyton. You've had a few weeks to get this new Kubiak's offense, whatever you want to call it, figured out. Okay, now you've got a good matchup. You got to perform. And the argument against McCown, I'm not using McCown at all because I'm on the Broncos defense and I'm on them all year. They're legit. They are really, really good. And they're so good that you have to start downgrading people who are playing them. What was the other question, Yeldon or who?
Chris Johnson.
Ooh. Well, Yeldon has injury concerns, right? He's not practicing yet at all. He's not limited. He's not, just doing individual drills. He's not practicing.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeldon may not even play. So I guess at this moment I got to say Chris Johnson. Although, again, as we touched on earlier, not a fan this week because Ellington's going to be in the mix a little more. David Johnson getting goal line work, not good.
Yeah, I mean, if Yeldon plays, it's Yeldon, I think.
Right.
Yeah, because of his usage, right? He actually gets receptions. So I'm right there with you, Alex.
Right.
But that injury concern, just like Forsett this week, right? Neither of them really practicing. I'm likely gonna fade both of them this week. Theo Riddick, Alex, you a fan of his this week?
I think that's Pete's boy, but yeah, I don't hate it just because Abdullah kind of worries me, and I don't think Zenner gets as much play as he did last week.
Macklin or Alshon, Pete?
Well, my thoughts on Alshon for a GPP. If he's playing, I love him in tourneys. Macklin. So here's the thing. This is sort of what we talked about. We don't know what we're going to see Kansas City do. I have to believe that the skill position players, Kelsey and Macklin, are their primary skill position players are going to get more targets. They're going to get more run. They're going to get more involvement. So this is a really tough one. I'm leaning Alshon, but I don't feel great about it.
All right. Last one right here. Bortles or Hoyer in a GPP, Alex?
I know Pete's leaning Hoyer, but I just, like I said, like the last 4 weeks he's been QB 16 or better, and I think it's Bortles because he has two options to throw the ball to, and I think they just have a better team. Plus, I like I said, I think this has one of those like weirdly like 40 to 30 type games, and I think Houston leans a little bit more on the run game than Jacksonville.
Yeah, I don't hate the call. I think you can use them both. I like Hoyer, as we talked about earlier in the show, but I think you can use them both, and I really wouldn't hate either one.
All right, with that, I think we're done. We're going to end it. A couple of us have to go. Us old men have to go, and I think Alex has to go celebrate. So, congrats. I can't wait to have next week you guys facing off against each other. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be good TV, good entertainment for all. Two great pitching staffs, not going to lie. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Tuesday night could be the Cubs clincher.
Right? Tuesday's the off day, isn't it? No,
they play Saturday, Sunday. Oh, you're right. So that would only be the third win. My bad.
Oh, okay. Trust me, we're not losing both games at home. You may take one, but we're not losing both.
The trash talk begins.
All I got to say is you better beat Leicester, because that was Arrieta's one lemon right there.
I know. I watched it, and I was like, I really was hoping he would save that one.
All right, for Alex at Alex Hanowitz, for Pete at P. Karaganis, and Pete's Milk, who I think Pete's Milk might need its own Twitter handle now.
You got to Sharpie your glass, Pete's Milk.
That's a good idea, actually.
All right, I'm Mark at Emin Milano. Thank you guys for joining again. We appreciate it. Share, subscribe, thumbs up, comment on Sunday. Just a really quick PSA out there on Sundays. If you guys want a response, please send the notes to Twitter, as we likely won't get to YouTube to answer all the comments on Sunday morning. So if you want something quick, reach out on Twitter. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Good luck this weekend. Join the Listener League, which is going to be in the description, and we will catch you guys next week. Thank you very much. Good luck.